Hello, welcome to the next episode of Cheeto Racing, and today we are going to be fitting on this lovely, nice, brand new front pipe here. The one in the car is split, as I've mentioned in another video, so the front pipe has already split, so we need to now replace it. It did go a long time ago, and I actually put a weld-in flexi joint in there, but it hasn't lasted, unfortunately. So I've now got this nice, brand new front pipe with a proper flexi joint already in it. So today we're going to be installing this one. Right, to start with, I think I've got the tools out that I need, but I might need to go and get some as the job goes on, because you never know. The first thing we're going to do, because we're jacking the car up and it is front wheel drive, so just in case it decides it may want to roll back because we're on a bit of a slope, just going to put a little chock in just to stop the vehicle from rolling back. Right, so next thing we've got to do is we've got to jack the front end of the car up. So now I'm going to show you how we're going to do that on this one. Every car is going to be different, so you need to find your safe point for jacking the car up. Luckily for me, which I'll just show you in a second, put my jack so it's ready to tighten up. Right, so I'm going to show you where I'm going to jack my car up on this one. I'll just take the video for a minute. So where we're going to jack this car up is going to be just under there. In the middle here, you can see that it's got this cross member that goes under. So I'm actually going to jack it up on that point there. So let's go ahead and get that one done. I'll jack that up. Right, okay, so I've got the car jacked up. And as you can see here, what we've got is where the actual downpipe sits. It's quite close to the jack. So on this one, I'm going to take the jack out. But an absolute must is always to put some axle stands in anyway, just in case. So I've jacked it up on the right place where I wanted it to. And as you can see just around here, I've also got my axle stands in on the centre chassis rail there. So that's where it's going to be most supported. What you don't want to be doing is jacking it up on these seals here, because this is quite a weak point. Plus the fact it's got the side skirts on there. So that'll damage that if I do that. So I'm just going to lower that down now onto the axle stands, and then I can remove the jack out of the way. Okay, so I've got the car now jacked up. It's now safely on its axle stands. I've taken the jack out, which is now giving me plenty of room to work on around the front pipe. Cat, so we've got to take the bolts out from the cat. Now I know, because I've replaced the cat recently anyway on this, so I know that those bolts will come undone quite nicely. The other ones we've got is on the front where it meets the front pipe to the manifold downpipe. That hasn't been taken off for a long time, so I'm just going to quickly spray this up with some WD-40. Absolute crucial idea if you're going to be working underneath cars, to get yourself one of these little creepers, save yourself from lying on the ground. Right, so all I'm going to do is put a little bit of WD-40 on each of the bolts there, and that's that bit done. Right, so the next thing I'm going to show you what I've done already on this. As you can see here, I've actually got this exhaust wrapping on there. The reason why I've put this on there is basically because that will basically keep the temperature into the exhaust, therefore you're reducing the increasing the temperature at the headers inside, and the hotter you can keep those headers, the more the gas will flow out, which also creates a little bit more power for the engine. So what I've got to do on this one, which you won't have to do on every engine, is I'm going to have to take these little clamps off here, take this bandage off, and then I'll put it back on afterwards once I replace the front pipe. But that's the flexi joint that's now gone on this. So that's the next job to do. Oh, there's another bolt in here where the O2 sensor is, just up there. I don't know if you can just about see that. But I basically just need to put a little bit of spray just on that, because that's going to be the one that's going to be a bit of a nightmare to take out. So I'm going to put plenty on that. That's going to be the one that's going to be quite technical. So what we've got, which basically goes down to the cat, and we've also got 3 bolts, one there, and one on the other side. That basically holds that pipe off. So my next mission now is to take this wrapping off and then try and get these bolts undone. So I will show you. I will be back shortly when I've got that off. managed to get all the bolts loosened now. If you are fitting an exhaust pipe, I would always recommend to actually not just to take the bolt straight out, always just slacken every single one off first, just to make your life easy. What I've actually done is there's 3 bolts that hold the manifold on, well, the front pipe on, which I'll just show you on this one here. So yeah, on this one, there's three bolts that hold it. What I've done so far is I've taken these 2 out completely. I've slackened that one off, so now I know it's loose. And I've also slackened the 2 off on that one. I've also taken these 2 out here now. So these 2 are loosened, that one's still in there. Now the reason why I say to do that is basically because once you take one of these out, the pipe is either going to drop from this end or from that end. So you want to save yourself a bit of aggro for a little bit of manoeuvrability. So yeah, always slacken off all the bolts first before you actually take them out completely. The one that I'm going to have a little bit of a mission with is probably going to be this one just in here. But that'll be fine. We'll have a look at that one when it's actually off the car, I think. That's probably going to be the better option for that one. Anyway, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm now just going to remove the front pipe completely. Now I've got all the bolts loosened, so that's the next thing I'm going to do. So I'll be back in a second. So unfortunately on this one, the actual audio sound cut out on me, so I'm having to re-record this one now. So anyway, as you can see in this bit here, I've actually removed the downpipe down, matching it up to the old one, and you'll notice here that I've now discovered a bit of a problem that somebody has actually previously welded in the O2 sensor. Not a brilliant idea, because now that is actually going to cause me a whole lot of aggravation, but I'm going to try and show you in this clip how we're going to deal with it and how we're going to get around the situation. So basically what they've done, they've welded the whole O2 sensor on, as you can see, and what they've also done is where the holes are for the bolts, they've also done like a spot weld in there. So what I'm now going to use is I've got my drill there, as you can see. I'm now grabbing my cobalt coated drill bits. So we're going to choose the right size for it, which on this one I think we've gone for, by the looks of it, we've gone for an 8mm. I do think I actually upped it and went for a 9mm, I think, in the end, or a 10mm. So basically these are cobalt coated drill bits, which are highly effective. They're actually designed to work on a slow speed. Now, contrary to belief, there's a lot of people that do actually put the drill bit in and they wind the drill up to high speed and then try and drill it, and it basically burns it out and blunts, which isn't always a good thing. So these drill bits are designed to work on a slightly slower speed. So basically they churn the material out, and you'll see in a minute just how much heat is generated from drilling these out. So here we go, we're now just starting to drill them out. Once we've drilled these holes through, you'll see in a minute that you can see how well it's actually cutting through the material. These are decent, really decent, high quality cobalt coated drill bits. I absolutely swear by them. They're not the cheapest, but you can pick a set up for about sort of 50, 60 quid off Amazon if you so much as want to go and buy some. You can just start to see here that as I'm drilling it, it's starting to create a little bit of smoke. So what I'm actually going to do now is I'm going to get my WD-40. Again, other products are available. And I'm just going to use it as basically like a little bit of a cutting fluid. You can see how hot it's actually got. So what I'm doing is I'm drilling these out until I've got rid of all of what is appearing to be like a spot weld drill bit. So I'm now removing that spot weld, and then I'll have to use an angle grinder very carefully to cut the edge, but you'll see me move that onto that in just a moment. So now I've actually managed to drill out the spot welds from the downpipe. The next thing I've got to do now is just use an angle grinder to now cut the base plate off and cut the original welds on that they've used, cut the welds off that they've used to weld it on with, which is a bit tricky. What I'm using is 1mm cutting disc. Now, it's always important when you use an angle run just to have a bare minimum safety equipment of at least a pair of safety glasses. This thing will spit out sparks and bits of debris, and your eyes are highly important, so always wear safety glasses. As you can see, I can see it there that what I've done is I've already cut this off now. It has caused a little bit of damage to the base plate, but I'm quite happy with the way it was looking. So a little bit of effort, but it's now cut out. As you can see now, what the next bit I'm going to do is I'm now going to use some exhaust putty, as you can see here. And because I can't get to put a gasket on there, I'm going to have to use the exhaust putty. Now, the vehicle has been running for a few days now after I've made that video, and it's not blowing, so it has actually worked quite well. Now, the important thing to remember is that when you're putting this on, is to put on the coating just on there, because this could actually affect readings out from the O2 sensor if it gets on top of it, or it'll block the signal, which could affect how the vehicle runs. So as you can see, I'm putting like a little light film on there. Well, not relatively light, quite a nice coating of there in there. And then I'm actually then just going to rebolt it in. And then next time, if it ever needs to be replaced, it's already on, and it's be easy for me to then take out. The only difficulty bit is going to be breaking off the cement, but that'll be absolutely fine. And it also stops it from leaking and blowing. Also, they're giving a correct reading, as it should do, for the ECU on the vehicle, so you get the correct amount of fuel being delivered into the vehicle. So here it is now, the O2 sensor being now bolted in. It's got the exhaust cement around it, exhaust paste, and it's now being bolted back in. So next time it'll be easy to take out. Now, if this is a job that you're doing at home, ordinarily these will not be welded in. They should usually be bolted on. I've never seen one welded in, and I don't know why this one was welded in. But that's all done. And the next thing to do now is to refit the pipe. We're going to put some exhaust cement around the point where it attaches onto the manifold and back onto the catalytic converter. And then we're going to refit it exactly the same way, putting in bolts to hold it in place first so you can get it in the right place. Put them in loosely, and then we'll tighten them all up. So that's this job pretty much now well on its way and complete. So the job unfortunately took me a little bit longer than I expected to do because of the O2 sensor issue, but it's all on, nice and successful, and it's not blowing. In the next video, we will be redoing the rear silencer section, because I want to add a Y section into it and put a couple of silencers on it just to dumb it down a little bit on sound. So join me in the next episode where we're going to be redoing and welding up the rear pipe section. Don't forget to please like and follow my page. And again, apologies for the speech on this. I've had to overdub it because my microphone stopped working. But yes, join me in the next episode where we're going to be messing around with the rear section exhaust and doing a bit of welding work. And I'm going to show you how we rebuild that section that I've already done. So don't forget to please like and share and follow my page for more helpful hints and tips on how to do various items, and also getting my car ready for getting it on the track. Thank you, and we'll see you soon.